Okay, so here's what I have to say about this. I don't care that he had a meeting with Chris Jericho in Florida. I don't care how that meeting went. I don't care who he may have happened to have been on the plane with. There's some speculation he ran into some old WWE pals on the plane or this or that. That doesn't concern me either. I don't care about any of that. All I know is CM Punk knows damn well what the optics of showing up at Monday Night Raw were going to be. That's all that matters to me. Okay? I don't care about wrestlers from, competing companies visiting each other at those shows. I don't care about that, and neither should anybody else. Okay? That's something that happens in wrestling. It doesn't get reported a lot.
It probably happens
time.
a lot more than we all know it does. I mean, all the time people are backstage hanging out at places.
Yeah, you go see some friends or whatever. No one should care about that. There's nothing salacious about it. However, in the case of CM Punk, yes.
I'm sympathetic to Holocaust, but
right. In the case of CM Punk, with everything that's going on, and everything that's gone on over the last 10 months or whatever it is, and with him returning to AEW shortly, this is a situation where if you are CM Punk, you know damn well this is not a smart thing to do, and you know what the optics are going to be. Okay? So in this case, it would have been much wiser not to go, and I'm sorry. CM Punk can't play that passive-aggressive game where he puts his hands up and says, "Oh, I can't visit friends." Oh, what? Like these dopes, these people, the CM Punk people are saying, "Oh, what now? He can't go visit friends." You know damn well what the optics of this are. It's a different scenario and a different situation with him. And as to why he was there, because I know that he's well aware of the optics of why he was there.
Of course. He's not dumb. He knows we have talked about this every time we've talked about CM Punk on this show, and especially over the last few years. He is very and always aware of every single move he makes and everything he says. This guy,
and how it's going to come up, and how it's going to come across.
Yes.
And people keep trying to, deconstruct and why was he there? Well, it could be a multitude of reasons. Number one, he could have been visiting friends. I buy that. Number two, it could have been a publicity stunt. I absolutely buy that too. Number three, he absolutely could have been networking. And I think he was networking. Okay? I think all of these things can be true at the same time. Everyone keeps trying to break it down into one thing. Oh, it was a publicity stunt. Or, oh, he was networking. Or, oh, he's sending a message to Tony Khan. Or, oh, he was just there visiting friends. I think it's all those things. I think it's every one of those things. And I also think that he knows damn well what the optics of that were going to be. And I think he gets off on it. I think he enjoys that sort of thing. And we know he loves being a martyr. And we know he loves stirring the pot. And I just don't think it's very wise to do any of that right now, unless it was a calculated move to pull a little publicity stunt here. But going around shaking hands with The Miz, who he's had a public feud with, and shaking hands with Paul Levesque, who he's had a public feud with, could that be CM Punk, doing a little PR politicking, knowing those stories will get out so that he could say, "See? Huh? I'm a man who makes amends. I don't know about, these other people in the locker room. I don't know. But I'm a man who buries hatchets."
Ding, ding, ding.
I shook Paul Levesque's hand. I shook The Miz's hand.
The fact that it came out that those were the two people that, he talked to The Miz and he talked to Paul Levesque, two guys that he's never saw eye to eye with. Yeah, way too calculated that those were the two people. I'm sure there were several other people that he talked to. We don't know the other people. You know what I mean? We know, like, I forget, there was one picture of him back, in a parking lot. I forget who, Tamina or I forget who even it was, but the ones we all heard about was Paul Levesque and The Miz. And why do you think it was those two people that we heard about most publicly? I mean, those are two of the people that he's most predominantly had, public beefs with before. So yeah, it's all calculated, man. Anybody who thinks it's, whoa, I'm backstage. Hey, The Miz, how are you, bud? Hey, Mike Mizanin, how are you? Of course, come on, it's all calculated. It's all there's there's a rhyme to everything that he does has a purpose and has a reason. Is it always the right purpose? Is it always the right? No, of course not. But he's always thinking, how can I do this? And how is this going to make me be perceived? And what are people going to say about this? And how are other people are going to talk about that? He's always thinking about that every day, every second of his life. He's worried about that.
Yeah. And again, he's well aware what the optics would be, and it's clear he doesn't care. And, I've seen these things floated around that perhaps go into anger management or something may have been part of the deal to return to AEW and all that. And that's just all pure speculation. But even if that's true, again, I don't care. I don't understand why that matters in this scenario. The fact is, unfortunately for CM Punk, he's not someone who's in a position to just be a boilerplate situation of someone visiting their friends. No, he's different. And it's going to come across different.
Right. And he's not allowed to do the what? Me? Whoa, no, I was just in Chicago on a flight. He can't do that.
And that may not be fair, but, that's tough shit. Life isn't fair.
Sorry. Yeah. Don't be CM Punk then. I mean, there's one way to avoid that. Don't be CM Punk. I mean,
but they can't, you can't sit there and say, oh, this guy can't visit friends. No, he can't. No, not with that. This absolutely is a major story that has to be discussed if it's him visiting that show.
Right. Also, it's also CM Punk who pissed his pants very publicly and the whole thing started with Colt Cabana all those years ago for visiting friends, going to get pizza with guys in WWE while they were doing a lawsuit. That's what this whole thing. So it's also like, well, fuck, it's you who is still pissing his pants about CM Punk visiting or Colt Cabana visiting friends all those many years ago. So it's like, well, yeah, it's also this guy who cares very deeply about, who you visit and how it reflects on you and all that sort of stuff. So it's twofold. It's CM Punk, and he's very calculated about everything he does. And it's also CM Punk who is got publicly mad and outraged at Colt Cabana doing the exact same thing. So it's like, I don't know, man.
and whether he feels like he was networking or not, he knows damn well that's how people are going to take it.
Sure.
And the perception then becomes the reality at that point. And that's another reason why the rules are different for this one person in terms of quote unquote visiting friends. You have to know better. And that's why it became a big story. And that's why
also as well, like he had many opportunities to visit friends over the last 6 months. That he did it the same week that it's announced that a new show is coming from AEW on Saturdays. They've booked the United Center. It's going to be CM Punk's show. They want him to be the focal point of the show, yada, yada, all that sort of stuff. Like, he's had 6 months and 7 months, 8 months, 9 months to visit friends. He chose this week to visit friends. I don't know. Yeah, the show's in Chicago, so you could say whatever, but planes exist. He could have gone and visited friends in any place. It's not like the guy lives in Chicago 100% of the time either. He spends a lot of time in LA as well. He was just in Florida. It's like, so I know that, again, and it was all calculated. Hey, it's in Chicago. It all worked out perfectly for him. Knowing how this guy thinks and knowing, how he's, approached parts of his life, like, it's not that hard to see him realizing, wait a minute, oh, perfect. They just announced this. The Observer just talks about this new show on Saturdays. Everybody knows that it's for me. They've booked the United Center. They got it ready to go. Raw's in Chicago this week. Perfect. For whatever the outcome is going to be, no matter what, if you want to get people talking about you, whether positively, negatively, you want to get leverage, you want to whatever, this is the week to do it, and he knew it, and he pounced on it. So again, he's always thinking, and there's always credit to him. He's playing 4D chess a lot of times, and he's very successful at doing it. But yeah, to think that he just I'm just popping in to see friends, like, come on. So as far as like speculating on the Punk thing of what he was doing, like you said, I think who knows who could possibly get in the head of Punk enough to know what his ultimate plan was for this. Like you said, it was probably a little bit of all three. Realizing, okay, this is a good opportunity to meet, maybe he is legitimately, earnestly hanging out with people backstage. I think you'd be lying if you didn't think that it was very, very calculated that the Miz and Paul Levesque were people that he either sought out or publicly has been reported that he sought out or talked to or whatever. I mean, come on, that's clearly, whether that's like, hey, I'm making amends or whatever. Look at me. I'm trying to apologize. Those other guys aren't, I don't know. It could be that. And like you said, or like we kind of alluded to a bit, and we're going to talk about in a sec with this AEW third show, he's never had more leverage in A, or this is like his peak leverage in AEW, where they're being told, reports are coming out and news is being reported that Turner is going to give AEW a bunch of money to do a show on Saturdays because they want CM Punk on their television. They want a show with CM Punk on their television, and that's why this thing is happening on Saturdays. Collision, if that's what the name is going to be, on Saturdays on TNT. They want that show, and they want Punk to be a part of it. So knowing that, his leverage is huge to say, hey, look, Turner wants me here. So like, that's a great time to talk to Paul Levesque and say, hey, look, I'm still as valuable as ever. I'm more valuable than I've ever been. Look what's going on. They're going to get a whole new show because of me. They're going to be on Saturdays because they're going to be on TNT on Saturdays and get money because of me. So it's a great opportunity to go and to network and to talk to WWE and say, hey, look, when my contract's up, guys, look at how valuable I am. Look at what I've done for the AEW. Look at what they're still getting from me despite all this other stuff. So yeah, that's a part of it too. Like you said, it's probably all three. It's probably all three because he's very calculated.
And even if that's not his intent, he has to understand that the optics,
right,
what the optics look like, and that's
well. This being the week that he goes, he could have gone and visited WWE for any time in the last 9 years, and he didn't. He chose this weekend when the report comes out that the show is going to happen on Saturdays, and that Turner wants CM Punk, and they want him to be there. They have run in Chicago. WWE has run Raws and SmackDowns in Chicago several times over the last 9 years. He chose this week to be the week that he showed up. Just ask questions. You know what I mean? Just think about why this week was the week that he talked, and why immediately after meeting with Chris Jericho, this was also the week that he did. Again, it's all, you can't say, wow, geez, unbelievable. What timing. There he is in Chicago visiting friends. Why is this even a story? Like, come on. Don't be dumb.
Yeah. And look, I've been very fair about all of this for months and months. I've taken the Punk side on some of these issues and some of these stories that have come up. But, that's a bad look showing up at Raw. You can't do that. And you can't do that. And that's all there is to it. He has to know how that's going to come across and how that's going to look. And at the end of the day, did it really do any damage? Probably not. But it could have. And that's the thing. Just like, responding on Instagram to Dave Meltzer's message board post a few weeks ago, could have done severe damage to both his return and AEW getting another show and all of those things. And it didn't, but it's like, why are you, like Rich with his near death auto crashes earlier this week? Why are you tempting death? Why are you doing these things that could set everything back? You just get back from what was reported as a productive meeting with Chris Jericho and the people at AEW, and then you're going to pull a move like that.
Well, he's Phil Brooks. He just has to light everything on fucking fire all the time.
Followed by a black cloud. The man is followed by a black cloud. That's all there is to it. And I've defended him to certain aspects of this. I really have. I've had the elite fans mad at me a lot of the time over all this Punk stuff. I've had people claim that I'm a Punk defender and this and that. I'm not a defender of anybody, and I'm not on anyone's side. I just call it like I see it, okay? And I just take all of these stories and I tell you what I think. And in this case, that was very bad judgment out of CM Punk to show up at Raw. And it's really starting to become an IQ test, and you can really kind of separate the dopes that you really don't need to pay any attention to and normal people by how they speak about CM Punk and when it comes to all of this stuff. The people who claim that Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez are too close to the story, and the people who claim that Dave's in the Elite's pockets, and the people who claim that CM Punk is it's all Hangman Page's fault for the workers' rights promo, and Punk, and none of this would have happened if it was. It's an IQ test. You can kind of just separate those people out. They're in another fucking universe. Okay, the whole Punk can do no wrong crowd. It's fucking CM Punk. Okay, the guy can do a lot of wrong, and he has done a lot of wrong. And it doesn't mean he's 100% responsible for all of this.
Of course not.
Because he's not.
Things are not black and white. Making anything black and white is a terrible way to go through life. That's a dumb, stupid way to good, bad, black, white, this guy, I like this camp, this. I mean, just don't do that. It's a terrible way to go through life. It's not, and it's just not good. Like you're just never, don't do that. Just, call it like you see it. look at all the information and do not, I mean, God, the stan culture and that sort of stuff, it has been terrible with this elite CM Punk stuff. And it's like, yeah, no matter what, well, there'll be 1 week where we're, elite, supporters and fans, and then we're Punk defenders and fans. Like, no, we're just like calling the story like we see it, man. Like, I'm not in any camp. I don't care. I don't know any of these people personally. These people are going to come to my house, Be an adult.
Listen, nobody wants Punk back more than us. Number one, I think the show and the promotion is better with him around.
Come on.
And I've said that a million times. And number two, our business is better when he's around.
This site exists because of that motherfucker. So yeah, I want him back. Jesus, I want him back.
But you got to be fair about these things. And I've given the other side of this a million times on different shows and things that people told me from inside the company and everything else, regarding the elite and some of their, but this particular story, come on, man. He's got to know the optics of this little move that he pulled here. He has to know. I know that he's smart enough to understand how that was going to come across and how that was going to look. I think it was all of the above, the reasons that he was there. So that's my take on that.
Yeah. So, we'll see.
And as far as the show coming up, I mean, I think it's good for AEW Days coming back. He's obviously going to pop numbers. There's no question about it. CM Punk basically holds every meaningful business record in the company. I mean, just about every single one of them right down the line. Whether it's, in regards to television ratings, whether it's in regards to merchandise sales, whether it's in regards to attendance and gates. I mean, he holds virtually every meaningful business record in the company. And he's going to come back and he's going to pop numbers again. Now, for how long? I don't know. Is he going to self-destruct again? I think the odds are good. I think everyone would agree.
I would probably take odds. I would probably take some action on will Phil Brooks self-destruct again at some point? Yes, I would probably take the odds on yes. But you got to get as much business out of him as you can before he self-destructs. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Every step of the way, I have been in favor of bring him back and take advantage of him as long as you can, and cross your fingers that he doesn't self-destruct or it takes enough time for, but it's going to happen. But I've been in favor of bringing him back. I mean, of course I'm in favor. He's a huge star.
When he debuted, the show that we did when he debuted, we said, okay, start the clock. When is he going to self-destruct? It was like, go back and listen to that show. It's you and I being like, man, what a moment. When do you think it's all going to unravel? Because it's all going to unravel at some point. And it lasted a lot longer. And I think we did a show like 2 months later where I was like, Joe, maybe it's not going to unravel. Maybe this guy is a changed man. And then, of course, little by little, he became, as we know he will always become. But like, yeah, you have to qualify every CM Punk conversation with when is this all going to blow up and everyone's going to be mad at him again, or he's going to be mad at everybody again, because it's going to happen. But the problem is he draws so much fucking money in between that it's like, God damn it, we got to bring him in. And I know that, like,